this day when thousands of local children headed back to school, a new study says many of them should be starting class later. The American Academy of Pediatrics says school for middle and high school students should be delayed until at least 8:30 in the morning, 8:30. The study says it's a matter of health and concentration. Local 12's Paula Toti is here to tell us educators have heard the arguments before, but it doesn't mean you should reset the alarm. Not just yet, right, Paula?
Right, Cammie. Cincinnati Public Schools actually has two start times, 7:45 and 9. Some of those early times are for the high school and middle school students. It has to do with double routing buses. That saves millions of dollars. But even with that issue aside, change would not be so easy.
The study on kids and sleep says school students should get 8.5 to 9.5 hours of sleep a night and suggests starting school later would reduce chronic sleep loss linked to poor health. Cincinnati Public Schools Superintendent Ronan says she's sympathetic to the study, but aside from even the issue of bus routes, moving start times is complicated business.
And I know my daughter would like a little more sleep in the morning, but then you also have to look at the logistics of working families. If the high school student gets home later than the elementary child, they're unable to babysit for their younger sibling, and that impacts your two working families.
But another mom with kids the age of the study group feels it's worth the complication to make the changes. Hamilton County Coroner Dr. Lakshmi Sammarco says it's not just a matter of getting enough sleep. Young adults really have a different body clock.
And it's with puberty, hormonal shifts, the changes in their bodies that they just naturally tend to not wake up as well until about an hour later, about 8, somewhere in that 8 to 9 period.
Dr. Sammarco says there was a petition drive in her kids' district a few years ago asking for later start times that didn't go anywhere. But she says when you look at studies pointing to the best time to take a test, it's 10 a.m.
You're awake and you've had a chance to wake up and your hormones are responding appropriately.
In Cincinnati Public, parents actually have seemed more against late start times, with many students needing after-school jobs.
We would never just make some kind of change because of a research report without really talking to our families and say, would this work for you?
I asked the superintendent about maybe having classes like PE early in the morning. You know, you can get out and stretch and start to wake up, and those really hard math classes later. And she said that might make some sense. Now, certainly this idea of sleep deprivation carries on into college, Cammie. I mean, I remember those math classes. I was like this. That's why I'm here, you know.
Yes, I get it. And I have one at Miami now, one at UC. Today was the first day of classes for both. Yeah. And I asked them how it went, and they both said, it was so hard to get up. You know, they're used to sleeping in.
Well, and Dr. Sammarco worries that, you know, that's going to have a lot of people reaching for coffee in the really young years. And, you know, not the worst habit, the caffeine, but maybe something they wouldn't need otherwise.
Yeah. What about parents who make the argument, well, you know, the kids can catch up on their sleep on the weekend?
Doesn't really work.
No.
It might help a little bit, but when you're really sleep deprived, that's not going to do it.